Hello guys, and welcome back to End All Wars, playing as the Eastern Entente. Potentially the hardest thing I can do in this game, maybe, when you take into account that in real life the Eastern Entente lost. Serbia was conquered and Russia was forced out of the war by internal strife. Well, the game is certainly not making it easy for me right now, with Austria-Hungary throwing their full force at me, as you can see on the map here right now. We are looking at hell. Austrians are filling up this region right here. What is this called? Oh, this is just part of Poland. They're just pouring into Poland right now, and I have nothing there unlocked to stop them. I have nearby forces that need to be unlocked still, but it's going to be another probably 2 turns until they come in there. I have my force still defending Lublin, nearby Ivangorod here, which is under siege now, which makes me almost regret not going to defend it. But I do believe when you put your troops in the offensive stance, 1 tile over from a potential attack, they have a chance of coming to assist anyway. So for now, I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch. Once these troops unlock, I'll get a lot more flexibility with what I can do in the area. Over here, we've fought many defensive battles, many crazy battles, and the enemies are still here trying to fuck us up, I guess. I have an air fleet here, I noticed. I don't really know what to do with it for the time being, so I'm just going to toss it in this army. It's actually like a balloon, but better. It's also like a signal. It's a balloon and a signal. He doesn't need it, quite frankly, but this would make him able to, Jesus Christ, command as many units as our, well, HQ leader, actually. I'm just going to give him the planes because I don't know what to do with them at the time being. And there's probably not a lot of room for retreat right now, but we're able to defend and hold our own. We have a max entrenchment of 1, which reminds me, looks like the max entrenchment on the Western Front, at least, has gone up to level 2. Now, as the war goes on, the max entrenchment levels will increase in the Western theater faster than here, because that's where trench warfare was known. It developed over a course of months over there, not so much in the rest of the war. Over here on the German front, we have successfully, completely captured Tannenberg, and now we just kind of need to hold it until the end of September, when our objective will be completed, essentially. And over here, we're nowhere near taking Königsberg. I've pretty much given up on it. However, I am ordering this massive force here to proceed into Wehlau, to hopefully maybe deal with this force, but of course there are also other Germans nearby, hell, even behind us, that might get involved. I'm just trying to travel as like a doom stack that they can't really defeat unless they unify together, which I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I have support units headed to each of these, which I started making about 2 episodes ago. In a couple locations, we have unlocked these little marine brigades that I'm sending up to the front, mainly to the German front, to reinforce the 2 main armies that are there, because they have a lot of water to deal with over here. Could potentially come in handy. Not that Austria, of course, doesn't. We're trying to focus things where I feel like it would make more sense to focus things. Down by Czernowitz, we have still an assault posture, because it turns out we didn't actually manage to take Czernowitz in the short period of time that we had. But I'm going to try again this turn, and we're going to hope for the best. Our power in our main army has definitely gone down, but our other groups here, our corps, still have some good power. We want to take this and hold this for the rest of September, as it is part of our current objectives, as part of our war plan. Down in the Serbian front, things are just not going that well. I did not actually manage to capture Zemun, the city, and now there's some giant Austrian fuckfest of a force that has shown up. So I'm taking the railroads back to Belgrade, and we're just going to try to sit there and get into a defensive posture. In the meantime, this deactivated force, the Uzis army, I'm also starting to send up, but it's going to be moving so slow, and it may get intercepted by this fucking brigade on the way there. I don't really know. I'm leaving behind this 3rd Serbian army to try to secure the rest of Zvornik, which is currently disputed. Of course, my Montenegro army still staying put. It's stuck in these mountains, no roads, and the nearest thing it can fight is really inconsequential. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if all of Serbia and Montenegro fell just like real life. The goal is to beat real life, though. I don't know how that's going to go down here, but hopefully in Russia, right? One of our militia units we were recruiting has finished, and I'm currently sending him to meet up with the force that is going up to Belgrade. Unfortunately, this force is going to take 38 days with the way it's currently looking. That's like 3 turns. And a lot can happen in 3 turns. Of course, it could activate next turn and then get there turn early. I don't know. I'm just thinking and hoping. The good news is, this army's had some luck. It has claimed the city of Oravita and is starting to claim ownership of the surrounding areas. There's been a lot of losses, so for this turn, I'm not actually going to recruit any new troops. I'm going to actually just sit on my materials for right now. I have automated replacements turned on. Just let the game take whatever the fuck it wants to take for replacements, and then see what I have next turn, and then start working with that maybe. The only real notable things over here on the diplomacy area that I can point out is, number 1, Great Britain moved towards us again. Looks like we're going to get them on our side by next turn, on our side, on the Western Entente side. So, in terms of the overall alliance, but maybe not me. The United States is very, very far away from the Entente, currently very heavily towards the Central Powers, really reinforcing that neutrality, although it will always, like every turn, move 1% towards the Entente. It's going to take a lot more work to get them on our side. Italy hasn't moved at all, and unfortunately the Western Entente doesn't seem to want to work on them. Who are they working on? Central Powers is working on Bulgaria, which is no good because that's someone we'd have to fight. They're also still working on Holland. That's a Western Entente problem. I'm not even seeing any current diplomats from the Western Entente. No, apparently they've all just gone poof. And apparently, somehow, Luxembourg has lost their capital. Despite, if I go take a peek, Luxembourg still owns Luxembourg. Wait, what? Alignment Central Powers. That's really weird. Alright, whatever. I don't really get that, but if you take a look into Switzerland, you can see, ooh, man, this is actually part of France right here. The Germans have just crossed the river here and started pushing into France and claiming these forts. The forts themselves still belong to France, and one is under siege. Saint Mihiel has fallen, probably not a fortified location on the French border. There's some big-ass fighting happening here, not to mention the Germans are moving further into Switzerland. I only wish I could see exactly what's happening over there, but I can't. That, however, is everything we're going to do for this turn, so let's hit proceed to next turn, and we really have to cross our fingers here because the Austrians are really giving us hell, and it hurts, man. It hurts. I don't want to have to repeat real life and just be an Eastern Entente that fails. If we can just somehow get some more victories. I mean, we've gotten only victories up to this point, surprisingly, although these are very Pyrrhic victories we're winning. It's like, yes, you know, with 30,000 losses on one side, we only lost 25,000. Well, great, except that's not sustainable, especially if the Austrians continue to, which they will, force everything they have against us. And Italy isn't joining the war anytime soon. And if Italy is not joining the war anytime soon, we are not going to really get any relief fighting them. Maybe if we got like Romania or something, but the Western Entente, not really working with me on that. Okay, we have some kind of battle being fought here. Entente victory, surprisingly. Yeah, I could tell what happened here. That fort I mentioned, this one right here, the Ivangorod fort just came under attack, and oh my god. We had a defense of only 24 artilleries, only 12,700 troops, 410 of which we lost. They showed up with a massive force of 87,000 units, 6,300 cavalry, and 360 guns. And we somehow, for only 410 units, I guess it's because it's a level 2 fort and they chose to assault it really early. Because look, reinforcements didn't even arrive. They lost 60 of their 360 guns, 1,300, almost 400 of their 6,300 guns. 17,500 of their 87,000. Now this doesn't end this siege, for sure. There's more troops nearby too. This does not even come close to ending this siege, but that's some big losses on that part, and that could help I guess, undo some mistakes we've made, right? And we have another battle, a battle in Dubno. They are continuing to push us here. We currently still have twice their estimated power, amazingly. We are still facing against superior odds, and, well, we don't really have many choices on what we can do here. It's balanced, and that's it. Currently, we're still neck and neck, I guess, in terms of cavalry, but nobody really has enough. Our guns are honestly pretty neck and neck. And we still have a pretty good infantry advantage, pretty decent. Cross my fingers and hope for the best. Let's see here. Alright, these losses did much better for us. The infantry, we lost 4,500, but they lost 7,000. That's a pretty good difference. We lost 65 cavalry. We had about similar amounts of cavalry, in fact, separate to having twice their infantry. But they lost 833 cavalry. That's good. We lost 12 of our 540 guns, and they lost 36 of their 486. I think they've gotten into a point where they cannot win. They cannot win here. They cannot take Dubno, so that's really good. This attack is thwarted. Whereas, over here in Poland by Ivan Gorod, there's not a lot I can do there right now, and they're kind of running amok. That's unfortunate. But over here, we seem to have them in check. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon. As we see here, they are bringing reinforcements up, but hopefully we've been doing enough damage that we don't have to worry about any chance of even losing the area, Okay, this is no good. So there is in fact a battle for Belgrade. We have arrived back in Belgrade with our troops. We have 20 infantry, probably very injured, very damaged. We still have military control of Zeman, which is funny, we just never captured the city. We have 2 cavalry units and 7 guns, but their estimated power is better. So I'm not quite sure how to handle this, though our commander is better. So I've looked around all of our plans, and since our commander is actually so good, he can tell me what will counter what and what won't. The best thing we could hope to do is prepare to withdraw and counter march, and that would counter most of he's going to pick one of these 3. It would counter most of them, as you can see. But I don't want to prepare to withdraw. I want to hold my own. So I've actually gone to the strong flanks deployment, and I found this reinforced flanks, which counters only one of their potential maneuvers, but is not counterable by anything he could pick. It's a conservative plan with lower combat bonuses in case of a success, and lower penalties in case of an enemy counter. It's pretty much the best I've got here. At least it counters something they have. Increased range and assault attack, reduced enemy firepower, and assault combat effectiveness. I think this is the best I can hope for. I've really made a mistake in Serbia by pushing there and doing it in such a haphazard fashion, splitting my units up. I can only hope that we can hold off for now. So let's cross our fingers. And our fingers being crossed, this battle plan was fine. In fact, this battle plan didn't really seem to even be needed. In the first round of the battle, by the looks of it, we lost 4,500 to their 20,000 men. They showed up with a similar amount of men. Of course, much fresher, not damaged like ours were. They showed up with more guns. We had more cavalry, but we didn't even get to needing to do my plan. Round 1 was the only round of the battle, and they managed to lose 1/3 of their troops now that I've moved back onto this defensive with a inferior force. Because we're so damaged and fatigued, we somehow held out and destroyed 1/3 of their force. That bewilders me. I had no idea how we did that. Meanwhile, over in Russia, you can see they're just running wild in Poland. That's no good, and we can see our movements are progressing towards Wallau. Okay, they're fucking over our rail lines behind our lines, which is unfortunate. They're running a lot of their troops amok, but that means we might be able to run into Wallau and catch their forces there without the support of these other forces. That would be interesting. Ooh, there's a lot of units headed up here. Currently in a good position or not, they might overwhelm us with sheer numbers at this rate. That's scary. We got some German ships showing up here in their own waters by the looks of it, and seemingly dropping off more forces on our coast. That's not good. We're gonna have a whole lot of fighting that's gonna be happening up here, it seems. Looks like all the Austrian units are uniting in that one location of Dubno, I believe it was called. Turn's almost over here. And here's a battle. Just as I expected a battle would happen here. Yep, in Velau, which looks like we've captured it. Looks like a Russian victory. However, these losses are not something I'm very proud of. Ooh, yikes. So we lost 12 guns of our 504. They've only lost infantry out of everything. 13,000, but we lost 17,500. That's really no good. And 1,500 cavalry, I'm not happy about that. But we took the objective, so that's something. It's nice to get a win somewhere, right? Another battle still before the end of this Dubno. Oh no. But they've doubled their forces here. Their estimated power has now matched ours, and their commander far superior to ours. This might be the first defeat we've ever suffered so far, and it might happen where things were just going so well. Let's hope for the best. Oh, please. Russian defeat, god damn it. Yeah. I can't say I didn't see this coming. It's like they had a cavalry breakthrough plan which failed on round 3. No side crippled by this, but we lost less guns than them at least. 12 guns to their 54, though their guns are way more than ours now. We lost 166 cavalry to their 829, though they have thousands more cavalry than we do now. We lost almost 23,000 infantry. However, they did lose 30,000. This honestly doesn't strike me as a defeat. I would have called this a victory with some of the other losses we've seen. Especially because we still had more infantry overall. We've gotten them down from 136,000 down to more like 100,000, whereas they've gotten me down to more like 150,000. I actually am not too disappointed with these results, victory or defeat. I don't think I could have hoped for much better. Oh, but it looks like we retreated, and that's the defeat. Our units have actually chosen to retreat, run away, and abandon the fort. Yikes. Oh, man. Alright, now moving on to this next turn here, I've gotten to the point where I'm looking at recruiting stuff. I'm looking over at Serbia right now as things are turning out at least a little bit better than they were. I think I'm going to keep to my initial plan for now because it's proving a great distraction and conscript drain to the Austrians. So let's get another mountaineer being made. Let's recruit it back here where it'll be a little bit safer, I guess. Their mountaineers seem to be their best units, quite honestly. They can't really seem to make a unit better. I'm afraid to recruit anything in Belgrade given the current situation, so I'm going to go ahead and recruit another militia back here at Pristina. And we can then go take a look at Russia because we still have plenty of stuff to spare. I know I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get some infantry right now. We got some Baltic infantry here, which we can recruit. Can only have 12 total, it seems, but they recruit in pretty good points, very limited points, but pretty good points where we could potentially go stick them somewhere they could be useful. Let's recruit one in Vilna. Let's recruit one. I'm afraid to recruit one here. Or even up here. This might not end well, but let's recruit one here as well. Here as well. And I guess, you know, while we're at it, up here as well. It's all the Baltic infantry I can recruit at the time being. Some of this national infantry can only be recruited in very specific places and in very limited amounts. Like, I have is this Caucasus infantry? Yeah, Caucasus infantry. We have armies down here that won't be unlocked, hopefully for a while, but I know we will need them eventually. I know I will end up needing at some point some cavalry. Where to recruit those cavalry? I believe I should recruit some here. Ooh, man. I'm burning through my money. And a second cavalry probably wouldn't hurt. Let's recruit one right next to it. I think I've spent more than enough money for one turn, so I'm going to back out of here. And we're going to go over generally what's going to happen now. Unfortunately, as things stand, my units over here that have pushed into Velau, which have successfully captured it, by the way, they're in tatters. Their cohesion is gone. They just need to sit down and relax, hold their position, and try to regroup and recover. Some of them need to get some replacements. You know, that's an automated system in the background that has a priority list. Not much I can do. They have some strength, but not enough that I'd willingly start throwing them into any shit. Despite shit very clearly wanting to come to them. I'm going ahead and I'm retreating this unit up north. Maybe that's not a smart location. This is another signal recon type unit. Let's actually just go send it over here for now. Or better yet, I don't know if I've sent him any yet, but let's go send... Okay, stop trying to go that way. Alright, fine. So I will just send you over here for now, just to get you out of the line of fire. Going down here, you know, we've been sitting on Tannenberg this whole time. This is the final turn that we are really going to have to sit on Tannenberg, because it'll no longer be an objective town for us really after this, which is fine because, as we can see, we're probably going to want to get a move on because it looks like supplies are dwindling, but we are definitely restored and ready to go fight some stuff, really. I don't know where we'll go from here. Maybe down to Masserin and then up to Lotsen. Trying to clean this area up, maybe. Maybe straight to Elbing, but I'm not too certain about that one. I want to kind of keep my supply lines intact. Down in Poland, things are still out of hand. One turn and I will start unlocking all of these units over here, which isn't a lot. Like, this might get crushed before I ever get to use it. This might get crushed before I ever get to use it. This is an army, yeah. But it's not a great army. Even with the little balloon I brought down to it, it needs to be split up. It's not in a good position. Ivangorod still belongs to us, the fortress anyway, the area around it not so much. We still have our forces over here holding Lublin, which is one of the ways out here, and one of the routes up from here. I'm still planning on playing this kind of defensively right here, kind of keeping our troops ready to fight, but not exactly in a fight just yet. Maybe let them wear themselves out first. Down over here, I have captured Rawa Ruska completely. And now I'm going to take my units, put them across this bridge into whatever this army corps is, hopefully kick its ass, maybe just make it run away. The goal is I'm getting it over here to Lutsk to now surround the invading Austrians that are almost certainly going to capture Dubno. There is a citadel there with some bare fortifications, but they're going to capture because all of our units here have decided to retreat up to Rauno Fortress. So I figured let's go to the next fortress next to it and kind of box them in. They'd have to go around otherwise, so it seems like a good place. Assuming, you know, this unit doesn't get in my way, which I'm hoping it doesn't. We don't need to push any further. There's nothing we can accomplish before the end of our war plan. Somehow, we have held on to Zamosk, as well as the citadel inside of it. They just gave up. They stopped fighting for it. They ran away. So this region, whatever this region is, Podlasia, is secured. And this army right here is still at full strength due to its being secured. Down here, we have successfully captured Sezernowitz. Our troops here are tired. They are ragged. They are weary. They have lost cohesion. They're going to sit here and defend and recover these things. Do we have a depot here? We have a depot, so that will help them. It's also a size 5 city. That will also help. And our line going backwards is uncut, which is good. So they're going to recover here, and I don't know what I'll do with them next. The objectives will be gone, but, you know, ideally we want to kill any Austrian we see and capture whatever promising land we see. He'd definitely be more useful heading up and around to kind of assist up here, but maybe I could push through Austria, you know? Push through these cities up to Lemberg, maybe? Or maybe head around this way. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe I won't be so ahead on videos. You'll have a chance to tell me what you want to see me do. Down in Serbia, now that we have a majority control over this area, I'm starting to move this unit back over here. It'll take him 2 turns. The units that we're moving over here, I'm actually having just stay put because a massive amount of Austrians have showed up in their path that have just crossed the river, and I'd rather them sit and defend, or hopefully they'll see good luck. They don't have a very good commander, Oh, he's better than the Russian commanders anyway. Him, I'm hoping, can get there in time to reinforce. By the looks of it, we should be able to hold our own unless this unit makes his way to Belgrade. So it's more of an insurance of protecting Belgrade from this group if they go to Belgrade instead of crossing the river over to Zvornik. Montenegro still staying put. This militia unit still on his way. I also now have a fucking train here, cavalry, headed over to link up with this unit here to add to their ranks. I have a lot of Russian units heading to reinforce, as you can see by all these lines. Cavalry, infantry that have been recruited heading to the front lines, and it's a lot of things, and I don't really have time to tell you what all of the things are. Now, I don't remember if I've mentioned this yet, but Great Britain is officially in the war. They got another 5% boost, and as you can see, the Western Entente has accepted Great Britain into its alliance. This greatly affects the balance of power. Now, I know I haven't showed you this in the first episode, but let's take a look. As we can see, the Western Entente, right here, now has a combat power, land power, stronger than our own. We were the stronger land one, and their naval power has basically doubled, maybe more, and they are now double the strength on naval to the Central Powers. This is a huge win for the Entente as a whole. Maybe not my Entente, but the Entente as a whole. Also, so you can take a peek at what's happening, you can see the Western Entente has lost 233,000 men. Oof, and we've lost 140,000 of our own. Combined, that's almost 400,000. The Central Powers have lost a little over 400,000. So far, this war is going pretty evenly. So far. We have taken 4,400, by the looks of it, German prisoners of war. Our national morale is up to 103. It's the highest of any of the sides, mainly because I'm not printing money. That's a big thing that the others are doing that I'm not. The VP totals you can see, Central Powers have the most VP, but in terms of victory, I know that the Western and Eastern Ententes combine their VPs, and we start out with very little because of how unimportant our side is. We started out with 2,000, maybe less, but we've been holding our own at the very least. As you can see, we've been captured 2 of our objectives here, everything under Petrograd. Not all of the super important ones, but we are still capturing things, which is nice. We're holding our own, we're capturing things. The Central Powers, military power, is still way beyond our own. I'm pretty sure most of that is German, and I'm pretty sure at least half of this, maybe 100 of it, is focused on the Western Powers. That's my hope, because that means I have a chance. It feels like, all my victories aside, honestly, it feels like I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm not actually getting my ass kicked. I'm winning a lot of battles. It's just that there's a wave of bodies and my units are spread out. I'm winning everything I go to fight. I have now been pushed out of some places, but my KDR is great. My actual holding and capturing of strategic provinces is great. My trash province control, my overall distribution of my units is what's suffering right now. And unfortunately, the Western Entente is not actually taking enough heat off me, despite them having problems of their own. Let's go take a look at them. Over here, Belfort, another French city and fort under siege and attacked. It's not looking too great as Epinal has fallen and they pushed down into Luxeuil. They're getting surrounded off in this area, and Switzerland is being pushed more into. They're holding on to Bern for now, but they are under siege. Their color is slowly but surely fading off the map. It's not looking too great. The main line seems to be holding. Thankfully, Nancy is holding. Hopefully, the British troops will be arriving into the front lines in a matter of weeks. I do believe when Great Britain joins the war, the BEF spawns, like right here with some units. So those will hopefully run to the front lines and start pushing into Germany. And you know, the quicker we get into Germany on the Western Front, the quicker we get into reclaiming Switzerland, the sooner another front can be opened against Austria here. And just to take a peek, you know, Italy, unfortunately, not moving. Romania, scarily, moving towards the Central Powers. That would be quite problematic. I believe historically accurate, but quite problematic if Romania ends up joining the Central Powers, because Serbia would be surrounded by yet another enemy, and I'd have yet another front with nothing to protect it, really, against a new set of enemies that I'm not prepared for. And there's not a lot over here that I can gain in terms of allies, and seeing as I don't have control over my own diplomacy, that's problematic. Again, the Eastern Entente is really a minor thing. We are Russia. At the end of the day, we are Russia versus the world, and I can only hope that this goes well, as I think it's a real toss of the coin right now. But we got through more this episode. We got through a turn, its results, and then another turn. In the next episode, we're going to see the results of this turn, and then hopefully have a similar productivity ending on the results of another turn. For now, though, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.